right, everybody, welcome back to Sip and Talk. I'm still like reeling from our last deep dive.
Yeah?
It was a lot.
I know, right?
So are you ready to jump back in?
Oh, absolutely. Always up for a good, brain workout.
I like that brain workout.
Especially after that email from Micky, like, wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Starving Anonymous. That manga really got the wheels turning.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny because I was talking to a friend the other day, and we were talking about climate change and how, like, it's really making her rethink, having kids or not.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wait a minute, that's straight out of Starving Anonymous, Like, are we really making these, like, huge life decisions based on, what we really believe? Or are we just kind of reacting to, like, all this pressure that's coming at us from everywhere?
That's such a good point. And it really ties into what we were talking about last time, with Micky's email.
Yes.
Like, our beliefs really are our own, and we tackled some big areas there, right? Like social structures, media politics, technology.
Yeah, for sure.
Even like how self-aware we are of these influences.
Right.
And it's like how much of that is us. But today, I think we're gonna go even deeper. We're gonna look at even more real-world examples and really try to answer that like ultimate question, like, what does it even mean to be human in this crazy world?
Ooh, I'm grabbing my thinking cap.
Yeah, right.
Let's do it.
We're getting philosophical today.
I love it. All right.
Yeah.
Let's start with something that's like, been on everybody's minds. I feel like environmentalism.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want a healthy planet? Right. But it's like there's this constant like messaging coming at, telling us to reduce our carbon footprint, buy eco-friendly products.
Oh, yeah.
You even feel guilty about having kids.
Yeah, and that's what's so fascinating about this, right? Like, even the smallest actions are suddenly loaded with all this moral weight.
Yes.
Like, take the 2021 UN Climate Change Conference, for example.
Okay.
Or Taiwan's Climate Change Response Act. In 2022, there's this huge push for net zero emissions.
And it really does filter down to this feeling of, like, we need to change our entire lifestyles.
Right.
But then the question becomes, like, is that individual action really the answer?
Yeah.
Or is it just, like you were saying earlier, a way to kind of shift the focus away from maybe the bigger polluters?
And it's like, hey, just, ride your bike to work and give up your plastic straws and everything will be fine.
Right.
But, meanwhile, these corporations are still, like, pumping out tons of emissions.
Exactly. And it's interesting how that messaging can actually backfire.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, remember that 2023 survey in Taiwan where, like, 10% of young people said they were considering not having children.
Wow.
Because of climate anxiety.
That's a lot.
That's a huge decision, right?
Yeah.
And it's driven by this whole narrative of individual responsibility.
Yeah.
It's like, are we sacrificing our own happiness for a problem that might not even be solved by, our individual actions?
Yeah. Wow. That really puts things into perspective.
Doesn't it? It does. And speaking of sacrificing happiness,
let's
talk about work.
Oh, work.
I mean, everybody's got to work, right?
Right.
But there's this whole hustle culture mentality that's just so messed up.
Right. Like, you have to be grinding 24/7 to be considered successful.
Yeah.
Remember all the controversy over China's 996 work culture?
Oh, yeah.
9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week?
I can't even imagine.
I know who has time for anything else.
No kidding. And then you have this whole, like, lying flat movement popping up as, like, a reaction to that.
Like a total rejection. People are just like, nope, I'm done with this rat race. I'm going to prioritize my well-being.
I get it.
Yeah.
But it is kind of scary how, like, even in Taiwan, with all this talk about flexible work hours, you still feel this pressure to constantly be available.
It's true. And it's like what you were saying earlier, right?
Yeah.
Like, is this drive to work ourselves to the bone? Is that really ours?
Right.
Or is it something that's been ingrained in us by a system that benefits from our productivity? Like, one 2022 survey I saw found that over 60% of Taiwanese workers are giving up their hobbies because of work pressure.
Oh, wow.
Like, is that really what we want our lives to be about?
It's like we're just programmed to work, and then drop dead.
It's like, were those humans in Starving Anonymous just being farmed for our labor?
Good connection.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so we've got the environment telling us to make sacrifices. We've got work culture pushing us to the brink.
Yeah.
Now let's throw some mental health struggles into the mix.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like there's this pressure to be happy all the time, no matter what's going on.
Right, like toxic positivity is the only acceptable emotion these days.
Ugh, I know.
It's like we're bombarded with these messages on social media telling us to choose happiness, good vibes only, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No.
It's like it's okay to have a bad day.
Right.
I mean, we're human.
Right.
We're not robots.
Exactly. And that's what's so dangerous about this whole thing, right? Like we're being told to just suppress any negative emotions, pretend like everything's fine, even when it's not. But where does that lead us?
Exactly.
Like bottling up all our feelings can't be healthy.
No. And I mean, there was a 2024 study that found that 30% of Taiwanese in their 20s and 30s avoid seeking professional mental health help because of the stigma.
Oh, wow.
They'd rather struggle alone than, appear weak or negative.
It's heartbreaking, isn't it? And it makes you wonder, like, is this pressure to be positive, is that really for our benefit?
Right.
Or is it serving some other agenda, like maybe keeping a workforce happy and productive no matter the cost? Yeah. It's kind of creepy when you think about it that way.
Yeah, this is getting deep.
Right.
Okay, so we've seen how these external pressures can influence our actions, our emotions, but how do they shape our actual life goals?
That's the million-dollar question.
Like, what do we really want out of life? Is it even possible to know anymore?
I think it's so easy to get caught up in these external narratives, like saving the planet, climbing the career ladder, being happy all the time,
right? That
we lose sight of what actually matters to us as individuals.
It's like we're just on autopilot, just following this pre-programmed route.
Exactly. And that's where Starving Anonymous really hits home, It's like, are we being fed these beliefs?
Wow.
So we just play our assigned roles without question.
Like those humans in the manga just marching towards,
right,
whatever their fate is.
That's heavy.
That is heavy. Okay, but we're not totally powerless, right?
No, absolutely not.
We can break free from this programming.
100%. Remember those people who are choosing to lie flat?
Yes.
They're actively rejecting that pressure to hustle and grind.
Yeah.
And those who are speaking out against toxic positivity, they're reclaiming the right to experience, the full spectrum of human emotions.
It's about awareness.
It is. It's about recognizing those forces that are at play and making conscious choices.
So if we're not just mindless consumers of beliefs, then what is the essence of being human? What sets us apart, from...
That is a question that philosophers have been grappling with for centuries.
Okay, lay it on me, philosophy guru.
I think it boils down to a few key things.
Okay.
I think, first of all, we have this incredible capacity for critical thinking and reflection.
Yeah.
We can question assumptions. We can analyze information. We can form our own opinions. We're not just passively absorbing everything that we're told. Think about the lying flat movement. That's people looking at these societal expectations and saying, you know what, this isn't working for me.
Yeah, I'm going to hit pause on this whole life script and figure out what I actually want.
Exactly.
I love it.
And then secondly, I think we are driven by this deep need for connection and community. We crave relationships, we crave belonging, we crave a sense of purpose beyond ourselves. Think about all of those acts of kindness and mutual aid during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
In 2020.
It was amazing.
People helping each other out, forming these support networks, showing this incredible resilience in the face of adversity that's humanity at its best.
It's so true.
Isn't it?
Even in the darkest of times, we find ways to connect and support each other.
We do, but here's the thing.
Ooh, cliffhanger.
These beautiful human qualities, right? Like our ability to connect, our capacity for compassion, those can also be exploited, What I mean is think about those companies that prey on our fears and insecurities to sell us overpriced anti-pandemic products.
Okay.
Or the way that social media algorithms kind of keep us hooked.
Right.
Feeding us content that just reinforces our existing beliefs.
Right.
Even if those beliefs are maybe harmful,
Yeah, it's like they're hacking into our humanity for profit.
Exactly.
Which is just
it's messed up.
It's so messed up.
It is.
It's like this dark side to our need for connection,
Right.
Like we want to belong. So we buy into these trends and narratives.
Yeah.
Even if they're not really serving us in the long run.
Exactly. It's this constant balancing act.
Yeah.
Recognizing the forces that are trying to control us.
Right.
While also embracing, our own freedom to think critically and make our own choices.
So it sounds like the essence of being human isn't just about what we believe,
right,
but why we believe it.
Yes.
And who might be benefiting from those beliefs.
Exactly.
It's about being aware of those influences and then making conscious choices.
Yes. And maybe it's about recognizing that, we're not just individuals striving for survival.
Okay.
But we're part of something bigger, like a community, a society, a species, even trying to figure things out together.
Whoa. Okay. That got deep. So what does all this mean for Micky?
Right.
Our manga-loving friend who wrote in about Starving Anonymous.
Yeah.
What advice can we give him?
Yeah.
And all of our listeners who are feeling a bit chewed up by the world right now.
Well, Micky, first of all, thank you for sparking this amazing conversation.
Yes, thank you, Micky.
That manga really got us thinking. I think the biggest takeaway here is don't be afraid to question everything.
Yes.
Don't just accept the narratives that you're being fed. Dig deeper, explore different perspectives, and figure out what you truly believe.
Love it.
And remember, you are not alone in this,
We're all on this together.
We are. We're all figuring things out together, one deep dive at a time.
Beautifully said. And hey, if you need a break from all this existential pondering, our friend Micky has just the thing.
Oh, yes. Micky's YouTube channel.
Yes.
Mickyytolife is the perfect escape.
It is. He's got these awesome travel vlogs that will make you want to book a flight right now.
Oh, no.
Plus some seriously insightful whiskey reviews.
Micky knows his spirits.
He does. Be sure to check him out, everyone. You won't regret it.
You will not.
And that's a wrap for this week's Deep Dive.
That's it.
We'll be back next time with more thought-provoking conversations and maybe even a few laughs along the way.
Always.
Until then, stay curious, stay connected, and keep questioning everything.
Cheers to that.